love the two children. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. She off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. Man of the masses, oh, yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah. My ego diary politico, oh yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah. This man not the off in mind, oh yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah. Aha, now you muna don't hear all these bad politicians. Then we call themselves politicians. Where they thief our money.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live.
Glory Facebook, glory YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun power. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun power. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun power. Bó bá ṣe àní Mayegun máa wí.
This evening, I am going to take you through a journey to let you understand why Nigeria Judiciary is the one on trial. And every gaslighting word that the establishment in Nigeria pushes is a reaction to their frustration. They have just 14 days. They've already written the judgment. Now, person will go read them. Be the problem.
Ani ẹ̀sùn raki. Mayegun ti dé.
Mo ti dé.
Mayegun
The corrupt judiciary in Nigeria has finally come home to roost. And sincerely speaking, they have been handed the rope to hang themselves and possibly the entire charade. They are currently making you feel like you are a troublemaker for asking them to follow their own constitution. Apart from Thiefnubu being a drug lord, forfeiting money, apart from Thiefnubu perjuring himself, faking certificates, even INEC and the election, as well as the process that brought him in, if the Nigerian judiciary have anything at all to save, it is to save whatever is left of their integrity. That is, if there is any. You will understand how corrupt Nigeria judiciary is tonight. So help me God. You should share the broadcast. There is a part of the broadcast as well. Something like a sweet sour news. It happened in Zamfara. Terrorists kidnapped wives of the farmers or the people there. They kidnapped their people. And guess what the locals did? They regrouped and they went after the terrorists and kidnapped their own wives in return instead of paying ransom. Tonight. What they did at Lekki Gate in Nigeria, they are repeating the same thing already in Congo. That is Goma in Congo, where they have killed over 40 people, peaceful protesters. Motideo. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live. And thank you very much for those of you who have actually shared the broadcast, liked the broadcast, and took your time to read the description of this whole conversation tonight. Thank you. And if you haven't, please do before you finally settle down so you can know what you're actually, delving into. It is about the month that is going to kickstart how much influence does Thiefnubu actually have? And could anything at all remove him anymore from that power or that position? This is the month that is going to determine that. Events this month, which is going to be kickstarted by the judiciary that has failed after weeks of concluding the hearing of the petition, presidential petition. They have refused to release the judgment dates. Somehow, they are keeping it to themselves. However, there are events, there are happenings that are already coming to light. These were supposed to be happenings behind the scene. And for those who have been following Nigeria politics, especially in the last 24 years, like myself, it is going to be a serious moral burden on them if for any reason, decided to toe the line of honor. Where is that morality going to be coming from? When it comes to the Nigeria national, whatever they put, it is like the National Congregation of Criminals. And they cut across all spheres of life, including your judiciary. So they will tell you, for the sake of national unity, for the sake of national security, for the sake of Nigeria existence, even if this election is fraudulent, we cannot nullify it. They can wait for the next election. The court will now advise INEC, INEC, you need to do better next time. And that is the end of it, usually, until now. I know they have been gaslighting you, the obedient. And to be honest with you, this particular broadcast is mostly going to help expose a lot of things you have been fighting, and yet they have been gaslighting you, making you look like you are just a bunch of ignorant people who have no idea about Nigeria politics. What do you even understand? Oh, come on. You have proved your point. Let everything go. There's nothing you can do because you have no idea of Nigeria politics. But tonight, this broadcast is going to help your own persistence on telling the world that you are not asking for anything, no. Just them following their own rules. That's all. If you set rules and say this is the rule of the game, be fair and just to every participant. And wherever there is an infraction, there must be a fair system that will help everybody out. And whenever they want to begin the abracadabra, that is unacceptable to you, even though you are not expected to be this agitative. Like I said, for the first time, the entire establishment in Nigeria, they are yet to figure you out. Why? The judiciary in Nigeria, whenever election is popping up, it's like a cash out time for the Nigeria judicial system, the lawyers, the judges, and judgments are purchased on the counter by the highest bidder. And most of the time, the criminals who rig elections, the first 1 year of them being in that office is to mop up as much money as possible to bribe the judges, to help them legitimize the crime they have committed, electoral crime. Do you know that electoral crime is the same, if not worse, than the military coup? It's the same as the military coup, if not worse. Right? I mean, military coup are pretty much like, when they come up, you have no idea who the sponsor are. They just kind of blend in with the mood of the nation, cash in on that, take advantage of that to further re-enslave the people, right? But these particular criminals, they put a system in a place, they call it democracy, electoral democracy, which means everyone would have to participate fairly and let the majority have the day. So to them, asking the judges to do the right thing is threatening them. You, these people, want to destroy Nigeria. You are threatening the Nigeria judges. You are doing, no, you are not. You are asking them to do or to follow their own constitution, which they won't. You and I know that they won't. But let me take you all down the memory lane. Why the judiciary in Nigeria is so stinkingly corrupt that it has become like, if you get any justice out of anything that comes out of there, is as worthless as the paper that they write them on most of the time. You know why? Even the political class, the politicians, who have corrupted, well, like they corrupted themselves anyway. Scratch my back, I scratch your back. The politicians, have become so above the law that when the court gives judgment in Nigeria, they decide if to obey it or not, and nothing would happen. That is how ordinary the Nigeria judiciary has become. Back in the days, when you see the justices of courts in Nigeria, you don't just see them. I mean, I used to believe that they are like special human beings. They are like, they have this power that makes them sort of invincible, like they are not humans. Like they might be humans, but they're like extra humans. But these days, politicians are the ones sponsoring the medical treatment of judges, buying them houses abroad, giving their children jobs, right? And at the same time, there are also those who are currently funding the lifestyle some of them are living, marrying their daughters off and their sons off, publicly, what I mean, like clicking glasses of wines with politicians who are criminals. And the only last hope of the common man, they say, the courts. There you have it, gone. To let you understand how this work better. You remember one time when the husband of this woman happened to be the president of Court of Appeal in Nigeria. Now that position and the power to choose who are going to be judges in Nigeria high courts, okay, including appeal courts too. So yeah, she had that power, but guess how much she used that same constitution of Nigeria? Her husband happened to be a senator, was on the floor of the Senate recently. Tonight is going to be long. I hope you are ready for this.
Distinguished colleagues, I remain Adamu Mohammed Bulkachua, representing Bauchi North Senatorial District. It is a moment when we have to say probably goodbye to each other. For those of us that are not returning, we will still be around and we might keep on meeting again and again. For those who are going to be engaged on the at the 10th Senate, well, I wish you luck. And Mr. President, we have come a long way from 1999. And, Susuan is not there, unfortunately. We have come a long way since 1999. And when we met again, 2019, there were so many strange faces to me. Strange faces that are not really or too strange, because many of us here, we have met informally and we had some confidential dealings of one sort or the other between us, and they sought for my help and I did my best, and in most cases I succeeded, and they have thanked me for what I have done with words of mouth. That was all. But I am very happy that since that time, we became good friends, and we remain good friends. My political history has been very simple but challenging. Since I retired voluntarily from the civil service, from the diplomatic service, only to come back to my constituency and take part in politics, I have been, believe me, all on my own. On my own because, for some odd reason which I cannot comprehend, all the governors of my state, including those I helped to climb to that position, never supported me for whatever political office I bid for. But I am so grateful to Almighty Allah that Almighty Allah has always been on my side. And I have succeeded, won my elections, despite the opposition from the executive, from the state. And I am sure many of those who knew my role in APC or CPC before APC would wonder how I started from that side of the Senate and ended up on this side, for which I don't regret. They wonder, why would I take such drastic decisions? And I think Mr. President is one of such people who never still believed that I really crossed the carpet to this side. But my reasons were very simple. Since I never enjoyed the support of the party leadership in APC, even for them to recognize my...
Chief Whip, you yourself, you are not helping matters now.
They never recognized my role as stakeholder and mover and shaker of APC, a founding member, and they thought I was indispensable. Yes, nobody is indispensable. But I made it clear to the leadership of the APC that if you don't recognize the value of any political actor, you would soon come to realize his nuisance value. And I tried to prove that to APC. That's why, first of all, I moved to this side. Second, and I promised the leadership of APC that I would mess APC up in Bauchi State. And I am proud to say I have done that. I've succeeded.
You can round up. Distinguished Senator Adam Mohammed Bulkachua, please round up. You have less than 1 minute to round up.
Taken 10 minutes. And why should you respect me? Because I can cross-carpeted?
No, I don't want anybody to interrupt you or disturb you. So just round up.
Mr. President, at my age, I don't think I will lobby anybody under the sun. I would do the right thing, and I always do the right thing, and sincerely and honestly too. So, I know, I look at faces in this chamber whom have come to me and sought for my help when my wife was the president of the Court of Appeal. And I'm sure
Distinguished Senator Adam Ahmed Bulkacho, I think I will advise that you just round up and take your seat.
Name any names. We know ourselves.
No, but this kind of insinuation will mean that there was favor, there was this, and the rest of it. I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I must say that, okay, to round up, since that's what you want me to do, I will do that. And I must thank particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office. And she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues.
Distinguished, please, I don't think this is a good idea, go in this direction. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, please.
She's not.
That is the wife, Bokashua. Now, that is just to give you the window into the operational or the corrupt judicial process and the participants at the top level in Nigeria. Sometimes in 2008 or 2010, the current Chief Justice of Nigeria ruled on a case that had to do with forfeiture. And from part of their criminal code in Nigeria, the Chief Justice today ruled that it is a criminal offense. Once the court rules that you are forfeiting something for whatever it is, that's a crime, that's a criminal offense. Now, the same guy is the Chief Justice of Nigeria today, who has been part of APC, Egbekegbe. Sometimes in April, this was like 2 months after the charade elections in Nigeria. And they were telling everybody then to go to court, go to court, go to court. So it was now upon the Chief Justice of Nigeria to constitute the Nigeria Election Petition Tribunal, or to give his blessing to the Nigeria Judicial, whoever is in charge. It was time. 2 months, so they waited 2 months that they could have actually started the case of whether election is free and fair, or whether election followed the due process and the rest of that. No, they were waiting and they were delaying, so that by the time you start the petition, they would have sworn in Thiefnubu. So it will no longer candidate Thiefnubu anymore. It would have become the powerful president that you are now fighting. So you are now fighting thousands of other people whose interests now, who are looking for jobs or who have been given jobs by Thiefnubu to use everything to sabotage the system. So they wasted 2 months. Then this image surfaced online. Chief Justice of Nigeria was seen being wheeled somewhere in Heathrow in London with pack of Nigerian passports. So this raised a lot of questions. But before this image came to public, there were already what you can call rumors of the nocturnal meetings between Werewike, Hopeless Uzodijo, Solo Makinde Ibadan, Seyi Makinde, and few others who have been meeting outside Nigeria as Thiefnubu's reps. They have not done inauguration then, no. Why would they be meeting in London? They say, oh, no. That was, in fact, an old picture. That picture was like a month back. It was in March, not even April. That the Chief Justice of Nigeria only went to the UK for medical treatments. Later, they said, no, it was a judges' conference. And that was why it was in the UK. So he didn't meet Thiefnubu. It's all rumor, blah, 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 blah. So to this day, this image alone forced Nigeria, Chief Justice of Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, to actually do a skit. You know that skit to show that, no, he's no longer in the UK. He's back in Nigeria. In fact, he was on his way to Jumat.
Sorry, get back to you. Imam, let's go. Imam? Where's Imam? Okay. Imam? Where's Imam?
Just to convince us that it was rumor. No, he's back in Nigeria. All of this coming from APC, Egbe. You know, when you ask questions, especially with this level of civilian coup, you can call it, that happened. We are not blind. We are not stupid. We saw everything that happened. So APC, Egbe forced Nigeria Chief Justice of Nigeria, Nigeria's Chief Justice, to start doing skits to convince people about something that popped up, to cover it up. They didn't stop there. They afterward issued threats against Nigerians, asking them to remember how important this is, especially in this day and time of what Nigeria has become. Right? So they issue threats that anybody that tried to, why are you people trying to ridicule the judiciary? Why are you trying to mock the judiciary? What is wrong with all of you? Why are you all like this? Because of Obi gaslighting you. I know that it didn't work. They've been doing that, gaslighting you, blaming you for asking questions, Abi. But you guess what? Your intuition, right? Your instincts that are telling you that something is cooking, they are 100% right and correct. Because you see, behind the scene, the likes of all these criminal justices that you see, as the politicians are replacing themselves with their children, sending them in and rigging them in here and there, for the judiciary to legitimize all those riggings as well, they are getting something back in return. Their own children are being promoted as judges right now. And in another 5-10 years, the children of these criminal judges, they will be justices too. And the children of the criminal politicians, they will be governors, president, and the rest of that too. And guess how the work will continue? Generation after generation will continue to live in that servitude in a rigged system. So now that they are being called out, they said, a lot of you don't believe in Nigeria judiciary, and you are blackmailing them. You are threatening them. you are blah, 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 blah. They are gaslighting you for telling them to do the right thing. Okay. Here is what, one of the leaders of the obedience party, Utomi, had to say when he met with Jimi Disu, Jimi Disu, on this Nigeria info. I'll kind of take you there too. We have started. Have you shared this broadcast, by the way? Have you liked it? Like, pay your own offering, like the broadcast. Have you? Good job. Let's go to this Nigerian studio.
Are you optimistic? Do you have any shaking anywhere?
There's a heavy burden of history on everybody. I feel sorry for the judges, but if they don't, they are toast.
Yeah, I don't want to ask if they don't what. So I'll just leave
if they don't do justice, they are toast.
Oh yeah,
Nigeria itself is toast.
Yeah, they will do that. But remember that they say one man's hero is another man's freedom fighter.
Well, sure, yeah.
Villain rather.
I mean that I don't like.
Okay, but okay, let's wait till then. Yeah. But in the meantime, I'd like you to do a critique. Luckily, I mean, you're not here as Labour Party member, really. You're here as part of Utomi, who has been so concerned about governance. And, well, we've had how many months of your friend now? As you said, the president is your friend. Can you give us like a 5-minute analysis of what's going on and what your views are on that?
I think that he's severely challenged because he has a legitimacy crisis. You can't.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
Oh yes, you can't govern without legitimacy. You can't. You know.
So if he wins the case, you think he'll govern better?
It depends on whether. Look at the concept of legitimacy and how legitimacy crystallizes. I went out of my way to discuss it in a press briefing a few weeks ago. One of the best conversations around legitimacy is offered by an American political sociologist called Seymour Martin Lipset in the book The First New Nation. And he engages that subject. Okay, the ballot will give you legitimacy.
Okay.
If you win it and people perceive that you win the ballot. But then you earn legitimacy every day. Every day that you act in the interest.
You earn or lose, actually.
Earn or lose legitimacy.
Yes.
Every day. And so what then happens is that Nigerian politics has failed significantly because Nigerian politicians don't understand the meaning of legitimacy and service to the people. They, in thinking that politics is about grab, run,
and run with it. Why am I hearing this for the second time? Oh my God!
They forget that politics is about get and serve the people. Nigeria should not be where it is in the world today, but because politicians who don't understand the meaning of politics. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. I'm just sharing with you before we came on air, the first chapter of the new book I'm writing.
Okay.
And that's the emphasis. The central issue of my adult intellectual life has been on poverty, inequality, and why man is where man is.
Yes.
And in pursuit of that, I have gone through countries. You know, in those days, I just hear that, oh, this country has made progress with pension reform. I just pack my bag and head to that country and spend a few weeks there. Just wandering around the world, trying to understand, why did these people get it right? Why did Nigeria fail? Where these people got it right? This is what I've done for literally 40 years. And I can tell you that Nigerian politicians are the reason Nigeria is crippled. Because they don't get it. They don't understand service, legitimacy. And because they don't understand that, they think that politics is about going to be a big man and to have motorcades following you and to make a little money.
Luxurious cars and so on.
It's nonsense. That's not what it's about. You know, and look at the Asian countries that have turned things around. Look at how things changed. Look at how leadership affected culture.
Legitimacy. Now let's break that down for the sake of those who are probably not too much in the know of how Nigeria arrived there. Before you lose any loose talk or free talk based on what they have turned most Nigerians to. Ignorance, like ignorant mofos. Because that's what I see it as. People that will argue ignorantly, and then they will end it with, even if you are right, this is Nigeria. We all know that that's what will happen here. So they are much like would defend that wrong thing that they know is wrong because they are programmed to think that way. Here is a few things I have observed, which kind of played out in all of this too. Have you ever asked yourselves the following questions? I mean, if you are not, even if you are now one of disobedient, or you are not, okay, it doesn't matter now, okay? Like in sincerity, have you asked yourselves the following questions, like personally, like 1, if INEC had followed their own rules, are you following me? Their own rules of using their own technology that they vouched for to capture real voters, capture real votes, and post real results for everybody to access them online. I mean, as you are doing your elections and the results are popping in, just like you had for Senate, for the reps and others that day, right? Imagine if INEC didn't tamper with it at all and they follow their own rules. What are their rules? The rules that once you get your voter's card, they use that what's it called again? That machine to scan your face, scan your card, Abi, post results. And if there's any problem doing all of that, they will put them in situation reports sheets. And if anybody disrupts any election anywhere, the result of that unit will not be announced. Also, according to your rules, your election rules, is that what you had on the election day is called first balloting, which means if you are the clear winner who have won in 2/3 of the entire 36 states of Nigeria and FCT Abuja, that is a clear win, okay? Majority of votes, 2/3 of the states and FCT. That's a clear win. The INEC would then have to review the entire election. How? By reviewing areas where there were election problems and results were not, they couldn't announce results. So when they weigh all this to the final result and the final election, and they feel like, no, we can still go ahead and announce the winner. That's a clear win. Their own electoral rule also said, if they can't meet the winner at the first ballot, they would then have to go to what they call the second balloting, which is the runoff. The runoff is that those who match and get closer to those requirements to be declared winner, they will go to the runoff. These are simple rules, see, written by the same criminals in Nigeria. Laws they passed, they were simple. It would have prevented all of this thing. Have you ever thought about that? Like if you are not using that, your criminal mind, your usual typical Nigeria criminal mind, your illogical, mad, crazy mind that always will prefer abnormalities to normal. I'm talking about doing things rightly, like just do the right thing. Okay? If they rig in this place, don't announce the result. The report says they destroy election paper here. They beat up people here. Cancel the election result and redo it. Abi, that's what your law says. So imagine if they had followed that. Would you be here today? That's number 1. Number 2, even if you are not admitting it, that you are all disappointed with the performance of Peter Obi, Ahmed Didati, and their Labour Party, and the Obedient, and the rest of them, that happened like a tsunami that swept through Nigeria. Even if you are denying that, that ever happened, As some of you will tell yourself today, Obi will never be president. This one will never be this or that. Because you support the criminality that finally help you to come back to life after the shock of what happened on the 25th of February. If you want to tell yourself the truth, right? Now let's break that down too. You have PDP, you have APC. The two slave camps that a lot of you have assigned your destiny to for decades, no doubt. Okay? And for months, you were telling disobedience that they were just noisemakers, social media, this or that, while your criminal leaders, APC, PDP, they were mopping up billions and billions of naira on how to stop them and rig them. Now, they demystified everything politics, traditional politics in Nigeria. They demystified everything. Now, would you kind of tell yourselves the following? That even though Mr. Yakubu of Nigeria said Thiefnubu scored 8.7 million votes. Let's start with that too. In your own church mind, that God that you used to talk, you always talk about, the one that you claim you serve, that every little conversation you will drop your God inside it, in that your church mind, in that your mosque mind, Thiefnubu scored 8.7 million votes. Do you believe that? In Lagos State alone, listen to this. Before your elections, a lot of you, in your warped, ignorant mind, in a mind that never actually catch up with the realities around you, you were telling yourselves that in their dream, in their what? In their dreams, would they even see 1,000 votes in Lagos? And you actually walk towards that. Remember? The Igbos could not vote in Lagos. You killed those you could kill. You injured those you could injure. All the videos are everywhere. You were so happy that the thugs were out. But when the result was out, you were so ashamed. And you were asking yourselves, what happened? How did that happen? They are the same Lagos that Thiefnubu enslaved for 24 years. Could not give him 200,000 votes. That they had to rig it, close the gap. From 1 million votes, reduce it to 500,000. From 100,000 votes of Thiefnubu, increase it to 500,000. And you all saw all of that. You were asking yourselves, how did that happen? Because nobody wanted you. Nobody wanted you. Nobody wanted this violence. Nobody wanted this criminality. Nobody wanted this slavery. You called people Omuali because of this Thiefnubu happy. But guess what? The people who were making noise on social media, they defeated PDP APC inside the asshole Rocky, inside the Akpo Villa, where you had all the PDP APC senators, reps, lawmakers, inside Abuja. Then you turned around. I remember those of you who said, even if the entire Eastern Nigeria, all the Igbos, put all of their vote together, made them vote for this Obi, what will happen? Now only Kano will cancel the entire Eastern Nigeria. Peter Obi ended up knocking all your criminal leaders. Disobedient. They demystified all your crooked criminal leaders in their different traditional political bases, from northern Nigeria to the middle belt of Nigeria, to western Nigeria, to eastern Nigeria, to even the Niger Delta region. But they had to spend so much to try to cut them to size, but they couldn't. Now that is where the legitimacy was lost, because nobody voted for you, per se, to even have any audacity to order anybody around. But it is Nigeria. This is what brought in the judiciary. When Thiefnubu first got in, he decided to give the judiciary 37 billion naira. made them share them. He also increased their salary by 114%. Yesterday, he is still talking about increasing the salary of the judges in Nigeria. And for those who know better, that is the purpose and the reason why Wike is given an appointment as a minister. If Thiefnubu was to do what he wanted, he would discard him like he discarded El Rufaya of Kaduna. So the judiciary is now under the pressure of Thiefnubu. They are reminding them, forget all these things everybody is saying. If you remove me, it will lead to anarchy in Nigeria. That's what Thiefnubu said. Remember? He threatened them. The lead judge in this judiciary that you are waiting for, Justice Zamani, was asking one of the petitioners and lawyers, Atifu's lawyer, that you kept talking about this criminal past of Thiefnubu. Like, are you not a Christian? If Thiefnubu, like, you should have a spirit of forgiveness. I thought our religion taught us to have the spirit of forgiveness. Now the judge, they tell the petitioner, at a point, Thiefnubu's lawyer, Fagbemi, who is now the Minister of Justice of Nigeria, Fagbemi was asking one of the witnesses, one of those petitioners and witnesses, he was asking him that if Thiefnubu was your brother, if Thiefnubu was your brother, would you be happy as people are harassing him, as you are harassing him right now? And that one responded that, well, I have no drug dealing criminal past and I didn't forfeit 460,000 US dollars for heroin trafficking. So I wouldn't understand. And you can't call it harassment. That is the system. So somebody knows them better too. But before we go to that, this evangelist Therapu, this lady has something to say about the judiciary. Again.
I grew up in a Nigeria where people encourage their children to have friends not based on what they owned, but to associate with those whose values were yours, whether rich or poor. I grew up in a Nigeria where the secondary school we attended had children of farmers and children of judges. And there was no difference. You had to listen to the Reverend Mother or you took your child home. I grew up in a Nigeria where the judges never came out to attend social functions. And one day I asked one of my uncles, I said, Uncle, why don't you come out to parties? You're always in your library. He said, we are sacred cows and not supposed to meet the litigants in public functions. They'll roll in the grave now. I lived in a Nigeria where when a judge stepped into a place, you stepped out. Or he stepped out. He wasn't allowed. They didn't. They say we only go to the houses of our brother judges. And so do our wives. So they were an exclusive community of noble and dignified men. I grew up in a Nigeria where mothers had parties that were just in sitting rooms, whether rich or poor. And they rolled ching-ching in the kitchen, fried it, and when they had the evening gatherings, everybody brought a dish, even though they could afford to feed everyone. And it was nice to put the spread on the table and everybody shared. I grew up in a Nigeria where...
Gone old days. Lucky you, all of you we're doing our 50s right now, 50s, 60s, 70s. There are so many of such, nostalgic moments, memories of things that you see today that will actually kind of, bewildered you. Like, oh my God, things they've normalized now. The Chief Justice of Nigeria was quoted in one public gathering that he was so happy that his own state governor was one of the G5 members, that it would have been a big disappointment for him if his own state governor is not one of the G5. And who are the G5? G5 were these criminals, rebels from PDP, led by Werewike, who, after using the River State money to bribe the people he thought would work for him to make him the presidential candidate of PDP in 2023, starting with Sokoto. Sokoto State would have been declared bankrupt, like, as far back as 2018. Because Werewike wanted to be president, he started funneling River State money to subsidize Sokoto State under his best friend then, Tambua. And when they realized that Atiku was just going to come in and eat the dinner prepared for Werewike, Werewike lost it. And they formed a group called the G5, who were actually working for Thiefnubu. Yeah, they were working for Tinubu. I've said that a long time ago, but a lot of you were like, no, Mayegu is impossible. Mayegu, I know Wike. All of you were said that in that time. You didn't come back and say, Mayegu, I'm so sorry that I remember when you said it, I told you, no, you got it wrong. This was way back in August, September, October 2022. Now, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, is also working very much to ensure that whatever evidence you believe you are presenting at the tribunal, they will all be discarded at the Supreme Court. Because that's where the whole thing is still going, yeah? Right. If you think I'm lying. For those of you who are older generation who saw judges as sacred people, people will be like Pope, people will be like Chief Imam. People will be saying, they see anyhow. This is the Chief Justice of Nigeria during the elections in Nigeria. This was before elections. Sorry, this was before the election, yeah. During the campaign, Chief Justice of Nigeria.
I understand we continue to commission projects till its last day in office. There are projects wide open all over the place. And that's why we should not be scared to have this men of integrity group. And I'm happy that my home governor is one, because, you will try to imitate his friend and in-law, because we came here to marry for my governor, So His Excellency Governor Wike will always threaten that he will call back his sister if my governor fails to play ball. And that's why if you see him following His Excellency, my governor is afraid, of his wife being recalled. So please, I saw Governor Wike almost mad with people. We have kept people waiting for too long. I shall not keep you waiting further. You are invited for dinner, and it's almost getting late for dinner. Please enjoy your dinner, a sumptuous one, and God bless you. We'll see tomorrow. I understand.
That is the Chief Justice of Nigeria. And of course, when they are doing marriage for their children and all of that, okay, you see all of the governors, you see all of the politicians, they are there. They are bringing gifts. They are giving their children appointments. They are letting them to say love by approving their children who never really practices law. But since they just left law school, they put them straight on the queue to be judges and approved by the Judicial Council of Nigeria. Chidi Otikalu. have more to tell us about the rotten Nigeria judiciary. This is just so you know that this month, in another 2 weeks, the Nigeria Tribunal, Presidential Election Tribunal, they will deliver a judgment that has already been written. But before they do that, you are going to begin to see a lot of people telling you, gaslighting you, that you must accept the final judgment of the court, even when they refuse to follow their own constitution. We are coming to that part. Chidi, and the video is actually the credit of Sahara Reporters, by the way. It's an interview. Not an interview. It's actually like a delivery. You say, Chidi, tell us more about this rotten Nigeria judiciary for the record.
The NJC goes through a process of provisioning, clearing provisioning for the judges. You've got to have the court halls, the salary, the vehicles, the basic provisions for their operations. They cleared 15. The circular was clear. They nominated 34. Of that 34, all but 11 were sons, daughters, mistresses of particular individuals. In one particular case, the original list was 33. I wrote the letter. I signed it in my name. I was not anonymous, so I can tell the story of what transpired. There were 33 nominees. Then a senior judicial figure who was about to leave the bench put his mistress in there, making them 34. She had not been interviewed. She had not gone through the process. And I wrote to President Buhari, to his credit. He listened and suspended the appointment of all of the people that we objected to. So he cleared the appointment of 11. And then something extraordinary happened. A senior justice of the Supreme Court was retiring and managed to get the NJC to bring back the list of those people who had been suspended. And the people who opposed that list were persuaded not to attend the meeting of the NJC. And this particular senior justice had their child in there, got the list approved, rushed to the president, all of them were appointed. They are now sitting on the bench, including the daughter of Justice Bulkachua and Senator Adamu Bulkachua. So judicial appointments have been totally captured. Politicians and judges make up and take up the appointments. And members of the NJC, if you give me the list of appointments, I will tell you who put the name in there. All I need is make not more than 3 calls. I will tell you whose candidate is on the list. From where? When you get to that point, to a point where good people, irrespective of where they come from, but suitable candidates can no longer make it to the bench, you know you're in trouble. And that is where we are. But it is not just because suitable candidates can no longer make it to the bench, and politicians now have decided that in order to have a successful political career, you need to carry a judge in your back pocket and in your bedroom. It is that to be able to proceed to anything in the country, judges and politicians decide what happens. So politicians no longer need our votes to become governors and presidents and legislators. They now need to settle judges only. It did not start today. If you want to know the origins, please go and read the Babalaki report. In the Commission of Inquiry into FEDECO, which reported in 1986. And if you don't have it, I can PDF my version. It's a little big. I'll make it available to the bride. But every lawyer interested in a country that works and judicial system that works needs to read the Babalaki report, because that is where the story of judicial corruption in politics was actually fully recorded. And I cite some of it in my written remarks. But it has been on since then. And in my written remarks, when you see it, you can check the footnotes as to some of the stories that have transpired from the Aramia constituency in 1979 elections down to Justice Ebu at the beginning of this millennium. But because this has a long history, we need to be able to reflect the memory. And having reflected that memory, then where are we right now? So this is how I start ending. Because the story we have is a story of two things, or three things, as I said. One is hubris, the people who have captured the political system and captured the judiciary dare you to go to court because they'll tell you, we own the judges. They're in our bedrooms. They're in our houses. We own them. You are not going to get anything. That is the story of hubris. There's also the story of mirth. They laugh at you, knowing that the courts are useless. And why are the courts useless? I don't believe that there is anyone here who does not know the case of Mojeku and Mojeku. And it is taught in family law, gender, human rights of women, constitutional law, and celebrated. Go to court happened to Caroline Mojeku. Caroline Mojeku was a widow. Her husband died in 1962. She started litigating in 1966, before the Nigerian Civil War. The Nigerian Civil War ended in 1970. She was still in court. 1976, 10 years later, she was still in court. 1986, Caroline Mojeku was a widow. 25 years going, she was still in court. 1990 happened. Berlin Wall fell. Caroline Mojeku was in court. 1996, 30 years later, Caroline Mojeku was still in court. She had finished Beijing. 30 years later, Mojeku and Mojeku took 31 years to come to decision. And law teachers teach it without looking at the metrics of decision making. 31 years for a widow. Go to court happened to her. Because let's think about ourselves as the man who died. And think of Caroline Mojeku as our wife. Raise your hand if you would want your wife to litigate for 31 years after you are dead in order to get to your estate for your children. Raise your hand, please. Nobody can contemplate that. Because most widows don't live to 31 years. That is a story of mirth, because we as lawyers argue for access to court. Very few of us argue for exit from court. And access to court is not nearly as important as timely exit from court. And these days, how many years does it take to go to court to get through high court litigation?
Thank you, Chidi. There's so much he had to say. In fact, there's so much he said in that clip, but because of our time as well. But did you get that message? While the rest of you are trying to figure out if Nigeria will get it right one day, someday, these criminals, they are recreating themselves in the important institutions in Nigeria because they see this as a lifetime career. The lifetime career of ruining your lives. And to do that successfully, you can continue to vote, and they will continue to rig it, and they will continue to tell you to go to court. And when you go to that court, their children, their wives, their girlfriends, their man friend, and the rest of them have been fixed in your judicial system to delay you, to compromise your case, and get it all watered down just to keep them in that power. Your election won't elect governors. Should I say, it is not your elections that are electing governors in Nigeria. Not your elections electing presidents in Nigeria. That's why those of them who are going into this, they usually what? Go and get ready there for maybe it's going to always end in court. And the courts, who are those controlling the courts? Even senators, they have daughters, they have sons who have already become judges. And they will be there to decide on your political cases. How do you fight that? You don't fight it. You destroy it. That's what you do. How do you destroy that? Of course, destroying it starts from here. The moment it doesn't make any sense to you anymore, a day soon is going to come where you are actually going to be called upon for the total destruction of this establishment. But the road to that is where they are taking everybody now. Somebody had this to say.
Well, the Tribunal has delivered a judgment in respect of the petition filed by the Benjamin Okuolu, the Labour Party candidate.
Something happened recently, and I felt so bad, and my heart bleeds for this country. Remember, about 4 days ago, we had the news that there was another coup in Gabon. We saw the flash, and I forwarded to a few friends that are close to me. Someone responded, of course, I won't mention the name, that I wish that the coupists in Gabon can come into Nigeria and help us with our situation. But you see, I also listened to what President Jonathan said recently, that we should all be careful in this country, particularly politicians, that the young ones know their rights to the extent that anything can happen. And what happened during the NSAS, they almost got there. Now, I also listened to Babangida. If you look at, I think, AIT, you will see every now and then his interview with the press. And he was narrating and chronicling the reasons why in most jurisdictions coup d'etats do come up. One, principally because of corruption, and also probably because of electoral rigging. Well, like we were told by the keynote speaker, or the guest speaker, or the guest may you see, coup or war, it's like football. You don't know who will win and who will lose. It's like biscuit, you don't know where it will crack. Anybody can be the victim. Nobody should wish for any coup or any war. And even what happened in the past, in the 60s, we are yet to come out of that. So the effect is still colossal, negative effect for that matter. So this is my feeling about that. We were told by Abraham Lincoln that the best way or the fastest way to destroy a nation is by dividing it. I don't think any one of us here would like Nigeria to be divided. Nobody will wish Nigeria to be divided, despite the fact that we've been told the history of how the colonial masters brought us together, now under one geographical entity called Nigeria, despite all kinds of differences. But that notwithstanding, we as believers in our destinies, we still accept being together, and I think we should work on being together. After all, we all hail from God, from the same Adam and Eve, despite whatever primordial differences we may be having.
Yes. A lot of people believe that if the judiciary in Nigeria, or should we start with the tribunal? If the tribunal in Nigeria comes back to say, even though if your constitution says this, but the interpretation of that constitution is different, all right? And despite all of this evidence presented and all that, if they come back that they are not enough, and then they now declared the whole process legit, and Thiefnubu is elected, which is actually what is now causing a bit of, maybe not a bit, a massive fear within that camp. What is likely going to happen? If the court says, all this your FCT didn't no matter again, all this drug dealing, all this evidence of a forgery and all of that, they no matter again. So at that point, is it going to be an official? It's going to be like official now. Nigeria constitution doesn't matter. Would you feel like that's official now? Like, let all laws be broken because there seems to be none. Or you are just going to possibly melt away as soon as no one died, as you know what I mean. There are so many questions, so I'm not daring you. You will dare yourselves because I have seen and I've heard. And I've actually seen the people right there on the streets. And the reason why I'm beginning to understand the everyday gaslighting messages coming from the Nigerian Judiciary and APC, you haven't noticed. They have started it already. When you talk about Judiciary, and you say Judiciary better follow the Constitution, and at this at this rate, nobody can begin to use technicality nonsense to deceive anybody anymore. If they then decided to trample on the Constitution of Nigeria, they just gave everybody the free ticket to trample on it. Abi, I'm just saying, as you are saying all of that, Thiefnubu and his own people are also saying, if you try any nonsense, the military will shoot you and they will kill you and nothing will happen. That is where the idea of NSAS will be a child's play, when this whole thing will go down. Because according to them, the judiciary have the power to say, to rule on the case. But what is the judiciary going to rule on other than the evidence presented before them? Is it going to be about the emotion? Is it going to be about the national security for the unity of Nigeria and blah, 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 other old ways, which I believe they are going to be like, their judgment is going to be on that. So would people just kind of have no choice, or all of them are go wait for the Supreme Court? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, what's going to be the reactions afterward? The legitimizing of Thiefnubu's rigging. We will find out in the next 12 days or 13 days or 14 days max. We will find out. Because you know something? They believe that power is not served a la carte, okay, in a restaurant. You have to what? You have to grab it. You have to steal it. And you have to run with it. That's exactly what power is all about. And if you don't understand that, you think the court will save you, then you are dreaming. And you are saying, fine, we know you. We know that's what you do. But you better get ready. I mean, like ready. Okay? Because we want to see the base. On what basis would the judiciary now say, Kalu has done nothing wrong? You have all been chasing shadow. The Constitution of Nigeria is supreme. Therefore, Kalu has violated nothing. What will be your reactions? Because you know something? The whole world is watching, especially the West. They are not talking, They continue to pretend that everything is okay, And I know things is about to get, shit is about to hit the fan. How it's going to end, I don't know. But I can bet it. In the next 2 weeks, we'll find out. We will find out. Now, going a little bit forward, somebody, Alilu.
As an individual, a Nigerian, of course, at my own age, at 69 plus, I wish to make a statement on this presidential election appeal tribunal with the decision to pass judgment on 16 September 2023. It has taken so long, and this has given room for a lot of statements and unwholesome statements. I expect that future elections should not take long for us to know the winner. But it creates tension for the country, tension for those who are for the president, tension for those who are against the president. I appeal to Nigerians, the INEC, and the thinkers of this country to make sure that they amend the law to make sure that any election that holds, appeals should be concluded. All appeals should be concluded before swearing in, because it's better for the country. I wish peaceful transition to that day when we will hear the judgment.
No, it's not going to happen, because that's going to work against them. You cannot rush us. Election issue, take time. Don't rush us, okay? If Kenya did it, that's Kenya. If Eritrea did it, that's Eritrea. This is Nigeria. It takes time. Don't rush our Lord. Our Lord justices. Criminal bunch of old rogues. who probably just don't have an idea. There are good judges, so make I just probably just say that for the sake of not using one single blanket on all of them. Okay. The way you will know if you still have any judge or justice anywhere that has a conscience is to pay attention to what is going to happen in the next 12 days in Nigeria. There are five of them. I'll see if I still have all their names here. So to read that for the record, 5 judges or justices, they will call them in Nigeria. Right. You have, they have one Justice Haruna Zamani. I think that's the head. You have Justice Stephen Ada. You have Monsurat Bolaji Yusuf. You have Moses Hugo and Abba Mohammed, 5 of them. Now, the way things always goes is this. All of them will write their own judgment. Do you understand that? The 5 judges for the tribunal, they are all going to write their own judgment on the case. Each one of them will write their judgment, will write his own judgment or a judgment on Atiku versus Thiefnubu and INEC, and Shettima and APC. Same with Peter Obi versus Thiefnubu, Shettima, Shettima, APC, and INEC. Now, in their judgment, when they will start delivering them, each of them will read their own judgment. Okay? They will read and say, okay, out of 5 justices, the way you will know if who is the winner from all of this is this. Out of 5 justices, if all of them write that, I'm just saying all of them now, writes that Atiku did not satisfy or prove his case, that Thiefnubu did not qualify, Thiefnubu should be disqualified, Thiefnubu this or that, and all of those stuffs, right? If all of them says Atiku didn't prove anything, that would be a unanimous decision to throw out Atiku's case against APC, Shettima, Thiefnubu, and INEC. So in their own ruling, you can go and read why and how they arrived at that judgment. Unanimous, they call it, it's unanimous. But if out of let's say 5 of them individually write what they feel about the case as their judgment. Let's now say 2 of them believe that Atiku no get case. 2 agree that Atiku has proven his case. Thiefnubu should be disqualified and the election should be cancelled, blah, 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 like that. You see, that is 2-2. The guy in the middle, which happened to be their leader, will now have to break the tie. He will now have to choose a side. He will write his own judgment too. So if his own judgment says Atiku didn't prove his case, he will just match it with those who said same. So it will now be a decision 3-2. Decision 3-2 means Atiku have lost. Now let me use Peter Obi as an example too. It's the same scenario. 5 justices. Okay? So let's say if the 5 justices now comes back and say Peter Obi has proven his case beyond reasonable doubt, and now they want to answer his prayers. What are the prayers of Peter Obi? Is asking that he scored the highest number of votes. He also satisfied the constitutional requirement of 2/3 states and FCT. Okay? And at the same time, he said he should be declared winner and be sworn in as president. That's his first prayer. His other prayers are Thiefnubu should be disqualified based on the forgery and other criminal view against him. Also, INEC should be held responsible for violating their own rules during the game. Therefore, INEC should be compelled to follow their own rules and declare Peter Obi as winner by, releasing all the documents they never released anyway. So it's only Peter Obi that is asking the court to declare him winner. and to be sworn in case if they have not told you that. I know they are telling you, it didn't prove anything in court. It didn't blah, 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 blah. You were seeing all those boxes of results and evidence and all those documents, Abi. But you, as Lagos Abobaku Olori Pangolo, empty skull, you go about and said, it didn't prove anything. There's no case. He only said he went there. He didn't even challenge the result. Blah, 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 blah. You are telling yourself, Abi. It happened. Even Atiku is asking for a rerun. The rerun that Atiku is asking for is that Thiefnubu must not be part of that. Because Thiefnubu must be disqualified. Something that he has in common with Peter Obi. Peter Obi said in his own case that he actually scored over 10 million votes. That's what he went to prove to them there. But your media and the rest of them will probably never focus on that. And possibly your judges too won't care. He went there to show to them how much of his own vote they were reduced across Nigeria, that if they even add that to what they declared to for him, right, it will not only win in landslide, Thiefnubu and Atiku, they will be nowhere close to even challenge him in court for that election. That's why he went to prove that. So now, if they come back and they say, Baba, their judgment out of 5 of them, they come back and say unanimously, Peter Obi has proved this case. He has won. They would have to declare him the winner and should be sworn in as your president, which won't happen. Because Olukayode, CJN of Nigeria, they are waiting at the Supreme Court. That is the final destination anyway. But if the 5 of them also come back and they said, no, Obi no prove anything, you no even get case, na nonsense case. Oh yeah. And they returned the Thiefnubu and said Thiefnubu has fulfilled everything and is the winner, unanimous. On the third scenario is that if they come back and they say, okay, 2 of them agreed that Peter Obi actually won. The other 2 agreed that the election get 40, but Peter Obi no to prove am. So therefore, they cannot throw out the case. Now, 2 be that. The man at the center, one man to break the tie, can then say, if his own judgment says, Peter Obi proved this case, he will join those 2 other 2. If his own judgment says Peter Obi no prove anything, he will join the other 2 too. Now that will be 3 against 2. That means the media houses in Nigeria, you know what will be the headline? Thiefnubu defeated Atiku and Obi at the tribunal because they couldn't prove their case. And that is what the media will spread. And that is exactly the picture I am seeing. And I don't know how angry or controlled your rage will be. I don't know. I know a lot of people are kind of thinking you don't exist. You are just noisemakers. And I've told you before, a day when Peter Obi will not be able to tell you to stop and you will stop is almost here. That day is almost here. You know, when they rigged you saw the rigging. It was so amateurish, unprofessional. You know, when I say amateur, it was so criminally done that it looks so shameful, kind of. They can't even rig in 2023. Rig election that will make people begin to question what happened. And they say, okay, come and prove the rigging. Ordinary person will get any smartphone in Nigeria today, have evidence of Nigeria election rigging. But yet you're asking for evidence. Yeah, bring evidence. Where evidence? Where evidence? They couldn't even do it right. There are a lot of you were so angry. You were so angry, so disappointed that Peter Obi told you he was going to go to court to go and prove it. Prove it with who? These criminals? The day is closed. It's just 13 days gone to any. If we say 14 days, we are actually counting the 16th of September, which happened to be a Saturday. They won't go to court on Saturday. I mean, I won't think they will go to court on Saturday. The 16th of September is the last day that they have to deliver a judgment. Or there is no judgment. May everybody go Supreme Court. Sure you get. So, before Nigeria, before those who are going to give one reason or the reasons everybody has been looking for a lot of time, to actually show to the world that this fraudulently forced together country is actually not a country. Do you understand? And maybe this is going to be the time. It is kind of looking like it's not a good time for the West, not a good time for the political class and the elite in Nigeria, for Nigeria to be destabilized at this time. And that is why the judiciary is afraid. What's going to happen in Nigeria if the judiciary followed INEC and followed all these criminal politicians to perfect and legitimize the state capture and trample upon your 1999 constitution? The trashy book I've told you many times. My ego don't talk like that. That's the constitution of Nigeria. Now you write constitution of a country is written through a referendum. If you have a country with over 200 ethnic nationalities, and you have over a country with over 500 languages, then a few people sat in a room. They wrote a book and they call it We the People of Nigeria. No, we didn't write that. So we shouldn't be respecting any goddamn thing they wrote inside that thing. If they didn't use the force of arm, guns, threat of loss of liberty or death on us, you shouldn't be respecting that trashy book. They don't have respect for it. They want you to respect that book. That trashy Abdusalami Abubakar's book called 1999 Constitution. They don't respect it. So when they finally kill it, which they have done already, when they finally kill it, they want to hold you responsible for it, and I don't know how it's going to play out. You've heard this too. I mean, the crisis of what do you call it in Congo DR, Congo Democratic Republic. It's your democratic nonsense. Well, the National Guard or Republican Guard, those who are protecting the presidential seat of that country, protecting the criminal president there, who publicly threatened his own people, I will kill all of you. If you try this, I will kill you and nothing will happen. And they say, hey, Baba, that is Congo. An area called Goma, where from record, they have been suffering from the, well, you know that. They have been suffering from the criminality or the terrorism of the stealing of their own resources, their mineral resources in Congo DR. So the people in that, the people from that part of Africa decided to stage a protest. That protest happened to be on asking the United Nations peacekeeping this force, French this force, America, all these forces that are there pretending to be providing security for these Africans in that their region, but they have never known any single peace for decades. So they want them gone because the purpose is this. They were actually providing security for those who are looting and stealing their resources, like in Nigeria, terrorizing the people, killing them. Goma is the place. I'll show you where that place be. 40 people have been killed in that part of Africa, and that is in Congo DR. So when Nigeria begin to kill our own citizens that are also going to resist this kind of democracy, state capture, dictatorial democracy, forced on people who probably have no choice, they will say. Nigeria is tilting towards that same. I'm going to take you to that Goma in Congo DR. More search for that. If you say Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, watch out. Now that's a small, I mean, that's a big region, if you want to put it, right? Let's see if I turn it into a 3D. Right. Now, see how populated the area be. That is a Congo DR. The resources of this area should have made them one of the richest or the richest place on earth. You see this area where you have some of these mountains with different kind of mining going on. The resources are not for them, but the peace they won't have, the resources of their land they won't have, the government of their country, who serves the interest, mostly the interest of the imperialists, as you will say, Africa. I don't know. Goma, which is Angon. Yep. Now, what happened there just yesterday? Why they were protesting? Before the protest, listen to their president. I mean, it's kind of in French.
Has to do with the issue.
That's a different one. But let's take a bit of a slowdown, okay? Let's go back there.
Je m'attaquerai sans hésitation, sans remords, à tout Congolais qui mettrait en danger la sécurité et la stabilité de notre pays. Peu importe ce qu'on en dira, violation des droits de l'homme, privation de liberté, je n'en démordrai pas. Parce que démocrate je suis, démocrate je resterai. Je n'ai aucune leçon à recevoir de qui que ce soit dans ce domaine. J'ai la charge de protéger et de garantir le bien-être de tous les Congolais, de quelque bord politique qu'ils soient, religieux ou autres idéologiques, et donc je ne lésinerai sur aucun moyen pour remplir ma mission du mieux que ce soit. C'est l'histoire et Dieu qui me jugeront. Je m'attaquerai sans...
It would not hesitate for those who are going to be singing human rights, it will do all within his power. It was addressing these particular people. And for them resisting, the soldiers he sent to them to break their protest. For resisting alone, I won't be able to show you the videos of the shooting. That would be kind of violating this platform's normal, what they call their normal rules and guidelines, whatever. So, but let's take a look at when they are now taking all the bodies away, which is not graphic, by the way, but just so you see, for the optics sake, that happened in Congo DR, a supposed democratic country, yeah? And then an elected president, supposedly, right? Well, it's not new. It is irregular in Nigeria, okay?
Hey, on a sas, on.
Those are human beings, harmless protesters. The battalion of soldiers, battle-ready soldiers. I'm talking about like war-ready soldiers were sent to those communities. The unfortunate people who got caught up in the crossfires, their bodies, mutilated bodies, bullet-riddled bodies, they are being moved to go and dump them in some probably grave, a shallow grave somewhere to teach the rest of them. Don't try to challenge us. If you challenge us, we'll kill you. Okay? Leave all the peacekeepers alone. Leave them and let them continue to do whatever they are doing there and stop complaining. Right? But the day you hear the breaking news, they have removed Ishegeri Abi, whatever his name is. They will say democracy is in danger. Democratic dictators slaughtering their own people, killing them for any reason they can guess, just any reason at all. And that's regular in Africa. I hope, the wind of other coup going on will further get rid of these rogues. It's not going to save anyone anyway, but I'm just saying, you just don't know what is lurking around the corner. You don't. I don't. And a lot of them are making serious changes in Nigeria, listen to the NLC that got deceived the last time when they said they wanted to fight for the subsidy remover, the hardship of the subsidy remover. Their man is now talking about how he got scammed, and at the same time, how they continue to lie. There are 3 weeks when they said they wanted to review how they are going to manage this subsidy remover, pay some people, or whatever. The 3 weeks, the committee put together by Thiefnubu to review the subsidy removal nonsense, they no meet. No single meeting for, anyway. Listen to the guy.
You can see it clearly that this is a class war. Between us, the dispossessed, and those that have to continue to have. Whether you call it the issue of subsidy or the new attack by the despot, Wike, to drive the poor out of Abuja, it is still the extension of that war. It is a war, whereby they tell you that you are building in a place that is not part of the master plan. And the master plan is only known to them. The master plan is in their pocket. And when you are building, they won't tell you it's not complying with the master plan. And they will wake up, demolish your house. And the NLC is saying that those structures are not illegal structures. Those structures should be legalized. Those areas they are demolishing, unless you have an alternative, there is no area they marked out, either quarter plot or half plot, for the poor to live in Abuja. And when the poor manage to get a small shelter, it is being demolished on daily basis. It is a war against the poor. And I wouldn't know, with the havoc Wike caused in Rivers State, and the number of people that died as a result of shock, if he continues it in Abuja, the number of people that Adolf Hitler killed under the gas chambers will be a child's play. The number of people that will die because of shock over the demolition of their buildings. Some of them are using their pension, their last cover, to erect such buildings. So, if he doesn't check it, because the moment he came here, he started destroying people's properties. I have not seen that level of wickedness being performed against the Nigerian poor. The issue of attack on the office of the National Union of Road Transport Employees is an extension of this war. A democratically elected trade union functionaries. And you send police to attack them and bring non-members to claim that they are the caretaker committee leaders. What is happening there is worse than the coup in Niger. Nigerian government should concentrate on the illegalities, on the level of fascism being practiced in Nigeria than talking about the coup and removal of democratically elected government in Gabon and Niger Republic, when they are removing democratically elected people in Nigeria internally. So I think we should check ourselves, check the level of attack on the poor, on trade unionists, and the masses. Now we go to the issue of the subsidy, so-called subsidy remover. They said it was by market forces. And they didn't have time to prepare a palliative for us. The first one came, 500 and something. The next one came, market forces, 600 and something. And we met with the government, and they promised to do something to conclude action within 8 weeks. Today is almost 12 weeks. Nothing has happened, comrades. And there was a further attempt by the same market forces to move it to 700. And we want market forces. Say, if you move it, we are going to meet with you. And behold, the spokesperson of Mr. President came out to attack us that we don't know what we are saying. Comrades, is the spokesperson of Mr. President the market force? Is he the market forces? And up to now, nothing has happened. The National Assembly, thank you very much, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Labor walked in where I was trying to talk. Thank you very much for identifying with us. The National Assembly intervened and said we should give them 1 week. Within 1 week, we met with the Senate President, and he had promised to meet with the President so that they can look at all these issues. Between that time and now, we have not gotten any word from the Senate President. Comrades, we are left rudderless. We are left helpless. The level of despondency is so much. And the announcement we got about the 5 billion allocated to the states is so annoying that you allocate 5 billion to states and how many 5 trucks of rice. If you share 5 trucks of rice to a local government, they won't get one cup. If we had accept the position of the Bureau of Statistics that we have 133 million Nigerians that are multidimensionally poor before the subsidy removal, and after the subsidy removal, the number must have increased or doubled. Those are the fringes became poor overnight. But even if we were to take it without argument, and you multiply 5 billion by 36 states and Abuja, you get about 185 billion. If you divide it by 133 million people that are multidimensionally poor, you won't get up to 1,500 naira. Is that a palliative?
Àtisebo, àtisete, àtisete, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àtisete, òtítọ́ òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́, àtisete, òtítẹ́, kágbádé fálárì, àtisete, kágbẹ̀bí fálárì, àtisete, adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àtisete, àtisete, òtìlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò, àtisete, àtisete, èdò gbówó mìíràn, àtisete, àtisete, ètìsete, àtisete, ìjà ń jà aráàlú.
Nigeria is so corrupt, which I regret the day I was born in this country. It's unfair. This is unfair now. This is unfair. Nigeria is so...
It's unfair. This is unfair. I agree. But that was the NSC chairman explaining to his comrades how they have swindled them, how they have played them, and with what he is already seeing, the shege just they starts. Make you not they believe whatever they tell you. 12 weeks, see. You think they are working behind the scene to work on the palliative for you, to work on how to improve the economy because of the subsidy. You are thinking that, Abi? High right. High right. The guy has seen it enough, and probably he had no idea of, he had no understanding of how he's going to kind of relay back to all of you. You are done for. They are sharing rice now. Remember the story of Eleye of Ogun, dubious Dapo of Ogun, that is accused of diverting 17 billion naira of the local government money. That's the first part. There's another 52 billion naira local government money that this same dubious Dapo has also diverted. 69 billion naira Ogun State local government money missing. Not missing, spent. Where the guy just came out now and he said he's going to give 300,000 bags of rice to the people of Ogun State, after ensuring that DSS arrest the local government chairman that accused him of stealing 69 billion naira local government money. You would expect the DSS to come out and publish how much money was shared by the local government areas in Ogun State since 2009, when dubious Dapo became their governor. But ladies and gentlemen, with 5 kg rice, we can put all of that behind us. He said he's going to share 300,000 of that bag as the subsidy remover. Of course, he has received his own 2 billion from the 5 billion that Kolu said he's going to give to every state. He's received the 2 billion. But, you know, that's a scam, right? The local government chairman of Ijebu East has been arrested by the DSS. He has been locked up since last night. And they are going to charge him to court. And they're going to charge him to court for wrongly accusing the state governor of diverting money without investigating. They are not EFCC, you know, without giving us any evidence of the money given to local government areas in Ogun State since 2009 by dubious Dapo. There's so much in the offing, right? Talking about the fascist. It's all similar as well, you know. It's a bit similar to that of Thiefnubu. I graduated from the Chicago State University. Baba, you no need to tell us story. Just why, when you know you graduated from Chicago State University, why you can't go submit fake results, fake certificates? How come you never submitted your primary school, secondary school results? So some of you make I tell you, to be the president of Nigeria, maybe you don't know. Now just primary school certificate you need. Primary school certificate is what you need to be president of Nigeria. To be employed as a gatesman in Nigeria of today, some people will have to ask you for your secondary school certificate to employ you as a gateman. Imagine employing the CEO of your company with primary school certificates, and you're like, because I know, say, God born him to do the job. Certificate is just a paper. That's exactly what you have in your country. It didn't have any of that. But, I swear, Allah, I swear to God, I went to Chicago State University. But why you can't present fake certificates? Who are your mates? You know, get colleagues? Is similar to when they brought this guy, Wale Edun, the one that is now singing the different praises on the economy of Nigeria. I mean, he's been honest. He was honest recently, right? When he said that the last time Nigeria has a stable exchange rate was 2014, 2015. That means before APC, Egbekegbe came to power, Wale Edun confirmed that, you know what I mean? Nigeria used to have a stable exchange rate. But Wale Edun, Thiefnubu's publisher, is now the Minister of Finance in Nigeria and the one in charge of the economy of Nigeria. The one that told you that they will not borrow a dime to revive Nigeria economy after they have already borrowed over $6 billion that they didn't tell you, by the way, or you didn't care to even notice, Abi. Well, Wale Edun, probably, you know, now the guy did that. Is the head of the publishing newspaper, Thiefnubu's newspaper, The Nation. Now from there, then promote him to be your finance minister to come and help them finish you as soon as possible. Wale Edun with Layamo throwback.
Honorable Minister, last week, Vintage Press came under attack. And it shows once again a hazard of this profession, media and journalism. We know that media people, journalists, suffer all kinds of indignities as a result of carrying out their legitimate activities, beaten, brutalized, harassed, sometimes in prison, torture, and even killed. Last week, last Wednesday, 21st of October to be precise, these premises where we produce our titles and bring them came.
Finance minister about go wear suits, can't look like a corporate, what have you. They can't go dust in CV. Now then they know say he's a greatest accountant. He's a special Kiniko in 1929. He was the one who drafted Kiniko in 1930. Wale Edun is a brilliant economist from 1955. He was the one who shaped and, you know, help America. All those nonsense. Baba can't wear suits. Can't they quote numbers? Or now they want to rescue Nigeria. By the time all of the initial gra finally settles, you go know the hand of the scammers where una don't enter. You know different from that of Umahi. Umahi is going everywhere now. He is going to complete Lagos Ibadan Expressway. By the middle of September. Completed. They are going to do Ondo to Ekiti road with concrete, very concrete road. They are going to build and make sure that the journey between Lagos, they're going to build a road that between Lagos and, and Abuja, if you are going to, if you are coming from Lagos, you are going to Abuja, 4 hours, Abuja. If you are coming from Abuja going to Lagos, 4 hours, straight, Abuja to Lagos, 4 hours. Baba, what Umayi was saying is that, like those who came with Bokwari at the time, Umayi is saying that, waiting they won't do, the Nigeria way they won't build for you, you go there speed 187 miles per hour. From Abuja, the road is going to be so good that you go there do 185 miles per hour. And within 4 hours, you go reach Lagos, 715 kilometers driving. That's what Umayis told them in Lagos. So we are building this. We came with this structure, this idea. You forgot the 1 million housing by a Minister of Homelessness. Isaleko Barack Obama, Abiyoshodi, Ajangbadi, Albert Einstein, Fashola, the one that was going to build you. Remember, you see, the reason why you don't have electricity in Nigeria is because the Bantu Eyos are those behind the electricity generation in Nigeria. You see, to generate electricity in Nigeria, let me give you an idea. You just bring in, you see that you are a better pass my neighbor generator. You know, it's like bringing 1,000 of that. 1,000 of your better pass my neighbor generator. That is 1,000 megawatt electricity. Period. The same way, Fashola became the Minister of Darkness, potholes, and homelessness in Nigeria for 4 years and 8 years. 4. At the end of the day, when he's gone, what is the legacy of Fashola? What? Okay, Umayi just came on board. They are already telling you things you want to hear everywhere. Nigerians must not queue for passport. That must end. This is nonsense. We must work for Nigerians. Passports, if you want Nigeria passport, you get, na story. We don't want corruption here. I want to let you know, I came here to work for Mr. President Oloshi. You came to sell land. With a wicked, he won't sell land too, Abi. All this initial gra to make it look like something is happening. They are working. You see the breaking news. Did you hear what they just said? Education loan. Did you hear what they just said? I give them last warning. All the terrorists in Nigeria, I give you last warning. This is your last warning, President Boko and President Thiefnubu. All these things will come down, and every one of you will begin to feel your shege regularly. You better begin to fight back, because nobody is going to fight for you. No. There's no Moses coming from anywhere. Nobody is coming to rescue anybody. In fact, if there is any motivation you need right now, you don't need any motivational speaker telling you about to aspire to, aspire to perspire, perspire to maguire, acquire to macquire, acquire to then disappear, and all those motivational speeches that they tell. No, you don't need acquire to maguire. The people of Birni Magaji, it's called Birni Magaji. Now, Zamfara people, a lot of stories you hear from Zamfara is that if it is not the terrorists who are kind of mining gold, killing the inhabitants of the land, it is about them being kidnapped or chased to the refugee camps called the IDP camps in northern Nigeria. They've always been the victims for years. He got to a stage, one of Bokwari's Minister of Defense actually said, why are they running away from the bandits? Face them. When we were younger, if bandits or terrorists come, we fight them, we face them, blah, 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 blah. You don't need any motivational speaker with what you are facing in Nigeria today anymore. Just visit the people of Birni Magaji. For the first time, they fought back. Terrorists came to their village. As usual. They kidnapped those they could kidnap. Then they sent a letter to the village and said, listen, guys, ransom new. Ransom new. You have to pay ransom. If you want to see your families again, you have to pay ransom. Or else we are taking them to the market tomorrow with our cows, where we are selling people off as a slave. In case if you don't know, bring a ransom new. Period. But instead of the village to go around and start collecting ransom from themselves to go and pay their family members, their own loved ones kidnapped by the terrorists in Zamfara. That was 3 days ago. 3 days ago, but I am happy to tell you today because the story has changed. What happened? They didn't pay ransom. They mobilized themselves and they went straight into the bush and they kidnapped the wives of the terrorists. Now, the negotiation right now is where is going to be the drop-off point. Nobody's talking about ransom anymore. It's about the drop-off point. Come and collect your wife. Okay, you two, where do you want us to meet? Come and collect your family members we kidnapped. Nobody is coming to fight for anybody. I just thought that should motivate you if you are looking for one. About give me one motivational this thing, I take and maintain body. My body they feel somehow. I say, well, read about the people of bringing Mogaji in Zamfara. That's a very good win for them. Government don't even participate. No soldier, no nothing. They just leave them. Newspapers say, well, we are discussing the drop-off point now. Not ransom drop-off point anymore. So to those who are saying the people should stop talking, they should stand up and fight. I think people just need a reason to fight. The people of bringing Mogaji, they will have been probably looking for a reason to fight. They finally found one 3 days ago. They fought. They won. Now, they are negotiating on the same level with the terrorists who took their family members. Maybe the judiciary will be your own reason, to fight. I have said this many times. If you are looking forward to somebody calling out to say, yeah, let us go and fight, it's not going to happen in Nigeria of today anymore because it won't work. It's going to be spontaneous. And these guys are those who are going to push you to do that. You will do it. You will do a lot of things that you'd never see yourself do. Never. When they finally push you to that stage, I'm not rushing you. You're almost there. Almost there. You know? Bringing Mogaji, read about them. Write about them. They are enough motivation for a lot of you who have been looking for one. How can we fight? Mayegun, just relax. Read about the Bringing Mogaji people. They had to face their fear. And I bet it. The next time all these terrorists goes out on their escapades, they will avoid bringing Mogaji. And just like they did in Egypt when they said that the angel of death was killing all the firstborn. They said, mark your house. Mark this house. And the beast of death will pass. No be so? I'm just saying, so just you know that there are people who have known and realized that in Nigeria of today, nobody is coming to fight for you. Remember that going forward. Oh, hang on. I've already done 2 hours. Right. I was thinking I should keep going, but I was going to take calls. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take calls. All right. But before we do that, I want to say thank you to a lot of you. All of you who actually responded last night when I brought that our guest. We had to present the program in Yoruba, by the way. So from last night to this morning, especially all of you who actually donated and supported us through the Naira account, I have received a report that between last night and this morning, we're actually able to raise over 1 million Naira last night. And from my own end, to those of you who actually sent your contribution through the PayPal and then a give send go, right? Also, awesome. Thank you. Because from my own end, we have been able to say, okay, we have raised over £600 right now. And £600 in Nigeria is probably like 700,000 Naira now, or 650,000 Naira. So which means between last night and this morning, to those of you who are so generous enough to turn up, we've probably raised over 1,600,000, 1,700,000 Naira, nearly 2 million Naira. That will go a long way, but we will still need the support. I just thought I should say thank you to all of you for being there, as always. So I'm going to make another tea. And when I get back, I'll take calls, okay? We'll have a chat for like another 15 minutes, then we'll go to bed. But if you think you want to go now, remember, like this broadcast. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like the broadcast, share it, And now we'll see you again. Don't go anywhere if you want to call in, by the way. Disu. I think I have a first caller. Hello there.
Hello, my Gio, my Egu.
Zeus, how you doing, Baba?
I'm doing good, man.
Great.
How is your family?
Well, we're fine. Thanks for asking.
Good to hear.
Thanks.
My Egu,
Baba?
the Western capitalism system have impoverished Nigeria and the ECOWAS. See, just 3 years ago, almost all the ECOWAS countries have some kind of what I call their democracy or whatever. But now it's like there's a wave coming in. Over 4 coup already down, and the wave is still going. Can you believe that even as I'm speaking to you now, these people they like to stay in power, they don't want to go.
They don't.
I mean, all the ECOWAS countries, some of them spent 35 years. Even there's one that have dementia, and he have stroke. And he went to that Francophone meeting, and they were holding him. I mean, none of all these African leaders.
The Gabon.
Yes, sir. And there's a wave 2 going in Senegal. And I don't know if you know, you must have known about
right.
that.
Yes,
this guy,
I know about that too.
He wanted
a
third
trying
term
to change the constitution because he wanted to go for the third term, and people started protesting until they forced him.
And the person trying to contest, the person contesting against him, he booked him for a rape charge and put him in jail. So it's all over. And you know one funny thing? These people, they travel overseas for their health care. How can you rule a country for 35 years? And there's no hospital in that country for you to go to? You want to travel overseas to get your medical care. Look at Gabon. Gabon should be one of the richest countries in Africa today. But look at their GDP. These people with their friends, they just steal everything. They don't obey no law. They change the constitution. I mean, I don't know the kind of brain they got. And look at our constitution before I round up. Our constitution in section 16 said the economic system should not be concentrated or in a wealth by one individual. And look at what they did with Dangote. They gave him free land, what they call the free economic zone. They gave him all material free, no duty waiver, they call it. And our government borrowed $2.7 billion for him to invest in a private company. And when Nigerians started challenging them, they claimed they allocated $1.5 billion to Port Harcourt, $1.5 billion to Kaduna and Warri. Nobody monitoring all these things. None of these things are being fixed. Where are the money? Where are the money? Look at the solid mineral. You know, people don't pay. Sometimes they give them 5 years free. Just go there. Just go. We are trying to help you.
Then you start paying us later.
And these people are making over $500 million a year. No accountability. Who runs a country like that? And you telling the military not to answer? Except they're cowards. Mayegu, let me tell you something. I'm a military man. I served in the United States Navy. I'm currently in the United States Army. I don't see anywhere in the world what the West Africans are doing right now. They're taking their land back, pushing back on the West. They don't like when we come out to defend what belongs to us.
No.
Because it's working against them. If the military are the ones that will make Nigeria rethink again, these people are taking us for a ride. Enough is enough, Mayegu. I rest my case. Thank you so much.
Zeus, right? You have delivered. Everybody is following the situation, right? Nobody's going to claim ignorance when this whole thing comes down. But yeah, we got you. Thank you, Zeus. I've got another caller. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
We got you. Thank you. Mayegu.
Wow.
Thank you. Let me lower my.
Yeah, mute it by the way.
Yes. Yeah. I just want to lower it. I'm a first-time caller, and I got through today to you. I've been following you for quite a while as well.
Thanks, man.
You have been awesome all this time, and I just want to thank you for what you do, and just also encourage you like the others. who listen to you to say, just keep it up. I wish people like us, when we were growing up, we had the courage to actually, do these things that you guys are doing now. I know that you are a very skeptical person when it comes to the Nigeria establishment and what is going on in Nigeria, and I do not blame you at all for it. Now, one of the things that I want to point out and it's been on my mind for a very, very long time is that you see, we forget, some of us who agitate, we forget something that is very, very fundamental, which is our fathers during the pre-colonial era entered into treaties with the West. I'm going to give you a bit of history so that you can understand the context with which I'm talking now. You remember the Royal Niger Company?
I do.
The Royal Niger Company signed a lot of treaties with our kings. Yeah?
That's right.
All over Nigeria. The area called Nigeria today. Then it was not Nigeria. But they were entering into different treaties. And it is those treaties that they use in cajoling us into amalgamation of the North and the South. Yeah?
That's right.
Now, before then there was the amalgamation. And then before independence, the different constitutions, don't forget that we Nigerians, we have not written any constitutions for ourselves at all.
No.
Yeah? No. It has always been people from Littleton to Macpherson to Richardson to Richard and all that, all those constitutions up till the independent constitution was also written for us. And it was the Republican Constitution that had the semblance of what we did for ourselves. However, it was a carbon copy of what we inherited from independence.
That's right.
And there was a little tweak.
I know.
And I just want to bring you to the present. If you take a look,
we all are.
Now, if you take a look, you will find that during this period, during this Buhari time, when they were talking about constitutional change or let us change the system of government to either presidential or whatever, they kept us telling us that there is no way we can just shave a constitution and write a new one. You understand? These are Nigerians telling us that we Nigerians cannot throw away a document that was handed over to us and get a new one that is local to us.
That actually represents.
That represents the generality of Nigerians. They are telling us that they cannot. Now, going back to where I started, Mayegu, is that those treaties that were signed, before amalgamation and during amalgamation, and by the way, have you ever seen the document, that amalgamation document?
Well, I have, but not like, it's just in pieces.
Okay, very good. But that amalgamation document is somewhere signed by specific people that they talked about, the Obong of Calabar, the Sultan of Sokoto, or the Sultan of Sokoto, and probably the Alafi of Ife or Oni of Ife, and maybe one or two other people that signed it. Yeah, and I can assure you that everybody was blindsided with whatever, all the small prints. I can assure you that, because this is how these people
that's
operate.
Why I said I only saw the pieces of it here and there.
I
didn't even see a copy where all these people mentioned signed. I've only heard them. I've not seen, I've seen where the copy of where they are like, this, the Royal Niger Company store. I've seen a copy of few. I could even look
very good right now. Very good. Now that is exactly where our problem is.
Sorry to cut in, right? It just kind of make me feel something right now, sir, right? If Nigeria as a country, hang on. If Americans, as a country, after fighting their civil war that gave them independence, right, over 250 years ago, okay, if that same America still have the copies of all of the arrangements that finally led to the what do you call it, the emergence of America as America, how come that those who call themselves the leaders of Nigeria today, none of them could possibly, or no historian could present that copy of that amalgamation? Do you know that nobody has it in Nigeria?
But
maybe
that is
somewhere in the UK anyway, but nobody has seen it. No Nigerian leader can say, I have seen it before.
That is exactly what I'm telling you. Now, let me tell you something else that you need to, that people are not thinking about. You know that treaty of Berlin, that Berlin conference. First of all, I don't know if you can, but let the audience today go and look up the meaning of treaty. These are agreements signed by different states, and those agreements are binding until they are abrogated. Until both countries will come together to say, I am no longer part of this treaty. Yeah, by law. Now, if any country don't do that, yeah, they are obliged, yeah, that treaty subsists, and they are obliged to follow the letter of those treaties. And these are the things, yeah. Now take a look, and this is something that you need to understand. As far as Nigeria is concerned, there is nothing in that geographical location, yeah, that is indigenous to us. That include the name Nigeria, yeah. Many of the names that you hear about Nigeria today, yeah, and around Nigeria are all foreign to us, except all these our small villages.
The original ones.
Most of the towns, is it Benin? Is it Lagos? Is it Jos? Is it maybe Kaduna? But I can still tell you, today, yeah, that most of those names were all they all originated from the white man. So they are all foreign to us. Now, my point that I'm trying to raise, Mayegu, this night, is to say that the first thing that I think that Nigeria need to do, if our leaders were sincere, because there is something else. Okay, before I say this, yeah, let me just say something else. Yeah, all right. I do not believe that Nigerians are not capable of good. I do not believe that. We as Nigerians, because anywhere else we go in the world, look at you here, Mayegu. You are doing fantastically well in what you are doing right now, more than any white man or anybody in the world, or at pair with everybody in the world. What you do right now, yeah.
Yes, I am.
Now, that is the ability that we have as a people, as Nigerians.
If we have
the
access
brains,
to same
we have it.
opportunities.
Everything we have it. Given the same opportunity, we will excel. Now, so what I was trying to say to you is to say that the people who occupy the position of power today, they are capable of turning Nigeria around.
Yeah, but they just don't have the will.
And for me, I do not think that they are deliberately, yeah, punishing their own people. For me, I'm thinking that there is something that is holding our people down. Now, for hold on, I will tell you.
All right.
For the French-speaking African countries, it is very clear. France owns those countries. For me, I think it is the same with the English-speaking countries. But the English, you know, they are always very subtle in their dealings. They have told us that they've given Nigeria independence. It's Nigeria that is doing whatever they are doing. They are the one running their own countries. Yeah. But please, that is not true. There is no way I can believe that. We can blame our leaders all we want. The only thing that I can blame our leaders for is two things. One, they have refused to tell their people the truth. That they are held with the barrel of the gun to say you must do this, otherwise this will happen to you.
You lose power.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then number two.
Okay. Now, because of our time, you know how we do it here, right? We just have to do like a short, but I know you have a lot to share, right? Thanks a lot, sir. I'll take another one.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Mayegun. Thank you. Cheers.
Bless
Cheers.
you,
Bye-bye.
So what happens is that a lot of people have a lot to say, but sometimes we don't even know that the time is actually going. You wanted to speak for maybe 5 minutes, then you find yourself speaking for like 10, 15 minutes. That's some other people's chance that we are kind of overstretching, but I wish I could listen to you all night, okay? And I hope I'll get you back sometime soon too. But let me take this. Oh no, it didn't get me. Can you get that? Hello there.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me pause this, please.
You are in. I mean, you are on, I'll say.
Oh my God. I didn't expect that. I'm good. I've been trying to call you all this while, so don't let me waste my time. Yeah, I listened to what the man that called, To me, I know that we all know that the Western world, they're behind all this, they're part of our problems in Africa. But coupled with our people, our leaders, they definitely comprehend. They accept because they have the ability. Yes, they have the ability to say no.
They do.
They can refuse these people. Yeah, because I remember during the time of Ijiagbo and this Buhari, that time when this Western England, British, I think they had our the plane here, and back home, Ijiagbo ground their own aircraft. He did that for them. Yes, definitely. So these people, definitely, if our leaders, they know what they are doing, if they are not cruel, if they are not really greedy, definitely they can say no to these people.
They have the right to say no.
They have the right to say no. And if they said no, and these people gave them oh, if you don't do this, this and that, they can really openly this. And then see what they did to Samuel Doe. See what they did. See what they did. They did so many things. They've been on our case long ago. And
you know what they said, Ma? You know what they said? They said that in Africa, in the last 50, 60 years, okay, there has been a violent change of government, either through coup or palace coup and all of that. They said there has been over 59 coups in Africa in the last 60 years, right? And CIA, America, is involved in 59 coups. America is involved in 52. France is involved in 47, right? And of course, the almighty Britain is involved in all of them.
Yeah. There's this movie, what is it called? Documentary, Journey of an African Colony. If you see that documentary, you with all these people, honestly, I don't know. Our people back home, they need to go and watch some documentary so that they will know the action, they will know the consequence of what is really going on, where they are going. Because these leaders, they don't really mean well. They've started all these traitors. All these problem, the betraying attitude they have is long ago. Our leaders,
they are the most ungrateful people too, ma. They are the most ungrateful people. They give them everything, and they give us nothing.
Yes, nothing. Okay, that time, Akintoye, Kosoko, when I watched that thing, the so-called Akintoye, the king, because he wanted to take over from Kosoko, he held under the British. He was the one that called British to support him to fight his own nephew that time. So, and if you now remember, this thing that happened, even Jaja of Okobo, Jaja did the same thing. He was even under British, right? And at the end of the day, he fought his own people in Shekiri. Then he fought his own people. Yeah? And at the end of the day, it was these British people that even
that deposed him. They deposed him, and then
they betrayed him. Yeah, he left his kingdom. They invited him, and they said that they promised that they would not do anything. They just invited him, come and go. But at the end of the day, when he got there, they seized him and they deported him.
That's right.
So he left his own kingdom. So many things. This thing has been happening, and these our leaders. They knew all these things, but they're not really ready. So that's what I'm saying, that if they want to refuse these people, they know what I'm saying now, they know everything. You understand? So they can. It's only because of their own greediness. And our people, let me go, because I know the time. Our people back home, Nigerians, masses, our so-called masses, I'm telling you, like what you always say to them, nobody is ready to fight for anybody. It's them. They need to know what they are doing. They really need to know the truth. They really need to, to really know where they're going and what exactly they want. If they want to sink in this thing, they should continue that way. Because I saw one stupid boy that was talking rubbish, Jami or Lawali or something, that people were saying, okay, you block. You know, if they're doing all those rubbish things that are still enslaving themselves, and they're not fighting for them, they didn't know what they're doing, they don't know the next thing to do, and they just sit down, cross the legs, and they don't want to die. I'm not saying people should die, I'm not saying that, but
at least even if you're not wishing them dead, right? Their leaders are actually killing them. We all know that already.
Killing them. You know? So what is going on in Nigeria is too much for anybody to discuss. It's beyond the bloom. It's already escalated. It's already blown. So if people are just sitting down and they all this mentality of just cross their hands, whatever is happening is happening. Let's just continue praying.
Let us pray. Let us pray so that God will come and do
I'm not against prayer. But there's some things but there's some things that you have to take action. If you don't take action, do it. If you don't take action, nothing will happen. You can't change anything. If you sit down, if you just cross legs and watch,
you have to do something.
Forget it. Nothing will happen. This thing will since our forefathers have been hearing is it go better. Up till now we are still there. We are our children. We said it go better. Now our children, we are now grandparents. Yeah, we are grandparents now.
Remember when you are still a young girl,
honestly,
right? And you're constantly shouting up Nepa. You are grandma now.
Exactly.
A lot of us are going to become grandpa soon.
Of course, let me tell you something. This afternoon, I was discussing with my husband, and we were saying, gonna those days when we finish school, that we're going to trek from, we prefer to trek than taking buses. You know, that we be like, as a person, I always pray for my daddy not to come and pick me. I was like, I didn't like my daddy to come and pick me. I really wanted to walk with my colleagues. Then when we get to the tap, we open tap. Outside tap, or what is the public taps? Taps, water. We play with things, we move on, we did all sort of things. Nothing like that anymore. They make life miserable for people. We make life miserable. People need to get up. They need to wake up back home. If they're just sitting there, I know some people, they're listening now. They are listening. You know? They need to do something. They need to just rise up. They need to wake up. That is what they need. The wake up call. It is now. It is now. It is now.
When that bell sounds, you should not feign ignorance and say, what was that about? Stand up.
Honestly, it's overdue. It's overdue. It's overdue. Michael, just let me. I'm happy that I really There are a lot of things. Everybody, every one of us got a lot of things to say.
That you just want to let all of them out
I
at the
just
same
have
time.
to be.
Don't worry.
Yes,
You
yeah,
will have
boss.
another
Let's
shot
just leave it
some
for
other
now.
time.
Thank God. Thank you so much.
You're
God
so
bless you.
welcome.
My regards to your
And
family.
to yours
Thank
too.
you. Bye.
Stay
Bye.
safe, my other.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye. Bye.
So that's a good one to encourage and tell everybody that nobody's coming to fight for everybody. If you're not ready to fight for yourself, I'm ready to fight for myself. And if you are ready to fight for yourself, instead of you joining them like they say, if you can't beat them, you join them. You don't have to join them. Call the rest of us when we join hands together. We'll go beat them to death. What? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello. I actually can hear you. If the network is acting up, I'll give you just a few seconds.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now,
Good evening.
please. You will need to
Yes,
then
my
speak
God.
up,
Thank you
okay?
so
So
much.
that all of us can hear you too. How you doing, Baba?
Yeah, well, I'm doing good. I'm calling from
Great.
Sweden.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, please go on. You are live now. Everybody can hear
Do
you.
you hear me now?
Loud and clear, sir.
Yeah, thank that lady that just spoke now, Lily. Mayego, I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
When all of us are living in Nigeria, we are leaving Nigeria. Hopefully that we spend 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, as the case may be, and we go back home. Nobody, I tell you, 85% of people outside Nigeria, nobody plan to stay there 20 years.
No, not this way.
No, nobody, not this way. And my ego, let me tell you, the country you left, when you look back now, there's no hope. Some people are here in Europe or wherever they are outside Nigeria. They have become grandpa in abroad. You are asking yourself,
They already have 3 generations abroad. They can't even take them.
Yes. You are asking yourself, this journey, when do I go home? The place you are planning to go, no electricity, no roads, no health care, no nothing. Tell me, how are you? No security. Tell me, how are you just pack your bag and go? Tell me. These are things that I don't know if it bothers a lot of people that are here.
See, I did a program, right? I did a program some times ago explaining to people in Nigeria that if they don't understand some of the dilemma of Nigerians who are abroad, that they are wondering, why are they always concerned about Nigeria? Why are they concerned? Is that, you see, I have met people. I'm talking about people who have been here for a while, okay? They are comfortable, okay? But somehow, they are full of outbreaks, right? They feel like this wasn't the plan. Their plan was, when they turn this age, they were going to build a retirement home in Nigeria. Some of them have built those retirement homes in Nigeria. They can't even go back there now.
Of course.
They are staying in this country longer than they planned. And every day they open their TV, they open their online. They see every reason why they can't take the risk of going back there. But some of them don't understand that in Nigeria. They don't understand what that means.
It is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. When you are telling somebody, when you are talking to somebody right there in Nigeria, they feel like, oh, you are living there comfortable. Why? But they don't know that you live in Nigeria. You don't live Nigeria that you want to live here all your life.
No.
When you come to Sweden here, you know what I'm talking about. When it comes to coal is coal here like anything, my brother. So how do you plan to live
for anybody who has an option of going back to where you came from?
How do you plan to live here all your life?
I know.
How do you plan to live here all your life? It's unfortunate. I just want to. This is the only thing I want to say, that people at home, let them know that we don't enjoy here so much.
No,
if our country is good, believe me, we're gonna come home. We're gonna invest in one thing or the other. There will be a job in Nigeria, and everybody.
Remember, You go abroad, you make money, you send them back there to start either businesses or build their projects or things that actually help the economy, create jobs and the rest of that. But Nigeria can tell now that more people are now staying away than coming back to Nigeria.
Of course. What are you coming there to do? What are you coming there to do? What are you? When I came to Lagos, when the first time I came to Lagos, I thought Lagos was like a London or New York that I used to watch on the when he rains. When he rains in Lagos that time, give it 10 minutes, everywhere will be dry. Mayego, I have watched football in National Stadium too, Lele. That time they have Abiola Babes, they have Iwanyang, I have watched football several times there. Mayego, I don't know. There was street light, everything was functioning. But now, it's unfortunate. It's hard where we find ourselves. Thank you so much, Mayego.
Thank you so much as well.
Thank everybody that is listening. God bless you.
And you too.
Good night.
You, sir. There are some other nostalgic moments that those who are older can always tell you. Things are changing these days. A lot of you are living in Nigeria right now. With the way things are going, you are not going back to Nigeria in another 30, 40 years. You may never even go back again, right? And another damages that, I'm going my caller for a second, another damages that Japa is doing to Nigerians is that Japa has been breaking families, breaking up families for decades. I mean, for the past decade now. What do I mean by that? I mean, the ability whereby you say, okay, Japa, and in that moment, before you finally settle yourself wherever you Japa to, a lot of family members of yours are going to grow up without you. A lot of them are going to probably grow up without even knowing you, all right? And not just that, a lot of them are going to die, that you will never be there to share any moment with them. This is one negative area of Japa. Usually when you go away for a year or two, you go back to your place. It's also good for your mental health. A lot of Nigerians are abroad. They've never seen the people that they grew up with, their family members, the real family bond. But they just have to cope wherever they are. Survive, just survive. A lot of them have lost their mind, and knowing that they will probably never have a chance of going back to that Nigeria, understanding the risk and all that, further messes up their brain. And look at this. With all the news you are reading from Nigeria, is that even encouraging for anybody to say, you know what, I'm going back? Even now your family member go say, they swear for you. What do you walk on to? What do you miss for here? What do you forget for here? Families are being broken apart. Because of the failures of these criminals called your leaders. You may not understand this. If you're watching me from Nigeria, this may not make any sense to you, right? But speak to those who actually felt like you too. They left Nigeria years ago. They thought they would be back within 2-3 years. Now the reality is setting, and they are now realizing that no matter how successful they are likely never going to come back to Nigeria in years to come. Majority of you don't know what that means to the mental health of a lot of us who have to cope in that code, knowing that year in, year out, we just have to remain in that code. You have no idea, do you? Hello.
Baba.
How you doing?
I'm jolly good,
I am so sorry for keeping you waiting. I just had to say that there. I've said it before. I just had to say it again. There you go.
Honestly, my ego, I'm just going to stand on that because, you know, when people are abroad, they think it's just the best. Yes, you might have a way of contributing to, you know, the families back home because, you know, when you give them dollars, you know, or pounds, it just, you know, they have more money to spend and all that, you know, but it's not the same.
Imagine you going on Facebook and you are seeing your family members doing graduation. You're like, Omotani, whose son is that? They say, that's Dami's daughter. She's 18 now. You're like, oh my God. So I've left Nigeria for the past 20 years. Dami had a daughter. She's 18. She's graduate. Oh my God, and she didn't know me. And a lot of people live like that. A lot of us watching me right now, they are sitting in front of their screen and I'll be like, oh God, that's true. That's true. That is one bad. That's one consequence of bad leadership that is actually ruining the mental health of a lot of us abroad, but nobody is talking about that because we have money. We give them money. We should be fine. No be so?
I speak about it a lot because one of those ways which I try to have a bond with my family back home, especially my cousins, which we grew up together. I'm going to give you a very good example. My son, one of my sons, shares a birthday mate with like my cousin, and this my cousin. We grew up in an environment whereby this my cousin is my paternal cousin. My father and his father were brothers, and I remember how we used to celebrate birthday those days. We moved from homes to homes. My father, once it's my cousin's birthday, if it's a weekday, we close from school that day. My dad picks us up and we go and celebrate, whoever is in the family having his birthday, and we don't leave there sometimes until 9 p.m. We don't even get to experience traffic and we get back home.
And your own children right now, and their own nephews and cousins in Nigeria, they can't even play together because look at the distance.
I can't. Yeah. So, and I'm just going to move away from that, the lead to my ego.
One of the it was an emotional thing, by the way. Every time I speak about it, I'm like, people don't think.
It affects me myself because I'm a family person. Because at the moment, I'm like I'm the heir of my family, number one. Two, I have a role to play because my father is no more. But his legacy, I only try to keep that legacy going. Well, moving away from that, all through the week, I've seen what happened, some of your shows, the Gabon coup and all that. But I would like to remind a lot of people watching this night that they shouldn't celebrate the military in whichever form. And I'm saying this because we should really give this a thought. Somebody called over the week and said, some of this coup, we can't celebrate all this coup, especially the one in Gabon. And I have a lot of reservations for that as well. The first coup in Africa was in Togo. And that was 60 years ago. Exactly 60 years ago, 1963. People need to read the history. When I called into your program on Tuesday, I said the same thing. I said one thing that would not make us see our future and see where we're coming from is if we don't read. History helps us a lot. That coup, do you know, Mariego, that coup was supported by France? The French government supported that coup. Let people, if anyone who knows history very well tonight should.
And they did not hide it, by the way. It's on record that they publicly said, yes, they backed the coup. That's the first coup in Africa. You're right.
Mariego, exactly 60 years ago. So, in a nutshell, whatever wave is going through Africa right now, we should be very mindful of the Western incursion into the liberation we are trying to fight for. So people should not celebrate. That's just what I want to tell people. Irrespective of whatever happens, me in whichever way, even the ones that do not have the Western incursion in it, like the one of the J that people have said, okay, it is people oriented, because of some of the pronouncements of the military. We should be very careful. We should be very careful because that is not the revolution we cry for. That's all I want to contribute tonight.
My edit is that the military will chase this one away. And in no time, we're all going to gather again and ask the military to leave. And I bet you it's never a good experience, especially for those.
That's just what I want to contribute tonight, Mariego. You're doing a good job as well as usual. All the best, Mariego. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay safe, all the best.
Bye.
Now,
Bye.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, I got that. So the line is opened again. Okay. So once in a while, you get to see people who are going to speak from the heart. And what they're going to say is going to actually hit you so hard that you're going to start thinking. I bet I've made a lot of you diasporans to start thinking again. I said, oh, it's true. I didn't plan to spend 30 years abroad, though. I didn't plan to spend 40 years, so I was supposed to just do this, do that. After maybe 4 or 5 years, I'm back. And if I'm going to be coming abroad, it should be something I should be coming on occasionally. But this is me, oh. I've done all the studies. I've achieved almost everything I dreamed of. A lot of things that you used to pray for when you left Nigeria. You have them right now. All of them, everything. But guess what? Except the supposed land you left, that you believe that you're going to the greener pasture, and you're going to come back and make the land green too. Now, the criminals have depleted the land, ransacked the land, ravaged the land. They have turned the people to paupers, poor. Here you get. And here we are. You are now having to kind of add days and years to your stay abroad until you have something that will convince you to say, well, the risk is worth taking. You can no longer wait till you are getting older. You need to go back. A lot of you are beginning to think that now, right? You begin to remember how you traveled abroad. That wasn't your plan. You didn't plan to stay abroad for 10, 20 years, did you? No, you didn't. Well, look at you. You are now an American. You are now a Canadian. Those are your saving grace today. You are thankful to God that above everything, at least you are an American. You are a Canadian. You are British. But those weren't your goals back then, 20, 30, 40 years ago. I'm just saying. So to those who are still packing their bags to japa, one day you're going to look back and you'll be wondering, so I have been here for 10 years. So I have left Nigeria for 20 years. So that time when they do prayer to go embassy to pray for visa, now I'm actually a Canadian. And then you realize what they have done to you. Because there are so many things that we will never get back. Family, and so many other things. Those who left Nigeria in the 80s, in the 90s, those were those who probably kind of had the best experience of living Nigeria. A lot of them used to go back to Nigeria 2 or 3 times a year. That was a pastime for them, you know? But today, those numbers are shrinking. A lot of them are beginning to kind of have a further stay back. And you may not kind of have noticed this, but since I have now mentioned it, you are now thinking it and be like, that's true, that's true. You couldn't even really tell yourself why you stopped going to Nigeria, could you? Have you ever actually, like, apart from us talking about the insecurity and all of these things, a lot of you have already started reducing your going to Nigeria in the last 5 years. You couldn't tell yourself why. You just figured out that you don't really want to go anymore. Nigeria, the same place that you prefer to go to 4 or 5 times in a year, especially those of you that are so blessed. When I don't get money, like it's nothing. Now you suddenly feel like, I would rather go to Ghana. You couldn't tell yourself why. Those are the changes we are talking about, in case if you have not noticed. Here is another caller before we go tonight. Hello there.
Hello, sir, Mr. Mayegun.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing super great. How are you, sir?
Very well, too. Thanks for asking. And sorry for keeping all of you waiting because I just spent all your time talking to myself there. Good to have you.
Yeah, happy Saturday. God bless you.
And you too.
Yeah, God bless you. God bless you. Yeah, I've listened to what that madam have said and the other man have said. Okay, that is good. Now, 3 things quickly.
Yes, sir.
There's a message for me, you. There's a message they sent to me, you, and the majority of the Nigerian populace. So let me deliver the message
Deliver
first.
them to us, sir.
Message first.
We are all ears, please.
Yes. This message, do not take it lightly. Yes. Okay, the message goes thus. They said, never mind them, never answer them. That is, them is a me and you and the never mind them, never mind them, never answer them. Yes, and then never answer them. Yes, them is a me and you and the many populace. Yes, because they said that they can only talk because they don't have any power or authority. So that's the message. Yes, that's the message ahead. That is, me and you can only talk. That madam, and that man that I've called before, they can only talk. No action. No action.
Do. We can only cry and talk and complain. We can't do anything.
God bless Mr. Yegu.
Me and you.
God bless Mr. Yegu. God bless Mr. Yegu. Yes, that's the message they said to convey to all of you. So that's the food for thought.
Because that's what they do all the time anyway. Provoke us. What do you go do? What do you not go do? They provoke Nigerians and tell them, what can you do other than to complain? Wow.
God bless you. Mr. Yegu, you are very super intelligent. In fact, you are very good.
Thank you.
Okay, let me go. Let me just give you one. I have 3 insights, but let me just give you one instance.
3 messages. Okay, you deliver the first one. Go to the next one, sir.
Okay, this one because now this one in the late 80s,
Yes, sir.
late 80s, when Frank Olise of NTA, if you can recall it,
I think I
Frank
remember
Olise,
that name.
he was
I'm trying to get it face now, but go on, sir. Frank Olise.
Yeah, he was the anchor of a news line, Okay, now once upon a time, these armed robbers, along the first stack, they already finished their operation, everything, and they wanted to change their vehicle.
Right, to
early in the morning.
vehicles during the operation. Okay.
Well, God bless you.
Amen.
And they didn't know that the vehicle they didn't know that the vehicle they stopped is one of the big wigs. This mafia's vehicle that the driver is conveying their kids to school early in the morning. And
they go hijack mafia's car.
Yes.
They used to convey his children to school.
Yes.
I'm all here, sir. Go on.
Yes, correct. And immediately they killed the driver immediately. And would you know that within 2 hours, helicopters all over Nigeria, and 2 days later, they later found those kids at Idiroko. Idiroko. Now, yes,
Like they unleash all of the resources, helicopters, everything, looking for them, right?
I'm telling you, it's like a we are fighting war. I think helicopters looking for just two kids. Right now, the kids may be around 30 or 32 years old now.
They are older now. You're
now,
right.
Yes. Now, on Sunday of that particular Frank Olise that is anchored the news line. Now interviewed the madam, the mother of those two kids.
Who is also the wife of the mafia? Go on, Baba.
Oh, God bless you.
Amen.
And this thing I'm about to say, this thing cannot happen all over the world except Nigeria. So the woman opened her mouth and said, I want to quote her verbatim. She said, we thank God, only the driver they killed. That was I'm telling you. She said it. She said only the driver they killed because they didn't recognize who is the driver and the bunch of Nigerians. They are worthless. They are nobody.
They call us ordinary Nigerians. You know another one, sir.
Fools,
you know another one. If you read all their so Frank Olise, when he was reading the news and interviewed the wife of the mafia, she was thanking God that it was only the driver they killed, not their.
Openly, in fact, openly all over the world. The woman said it. He said, I thank God, only the driver they killed. In fact, Frank Olise, he just speechless. I'm telling you,
dumbfounded. Like, how could you say that? So the driver no get life. The driver no be anything. You know another thing they do in Nigeria when they report their news, For example, let's say accident happened on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Now, they will say, oh, there is an accident that happened, a fatal accident that happened along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. 45 people died, including one senator, which is not like that. They will say Senator Anka and his driver and 45 others died in a ghastly motor accident along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So Senator Anka, now him that one get name. His driver no get name, but they will match it to him. 45 others are other Nigerians who died, but they don't have to mention their names.
God bless you. So that's the food for thought for you. So Nigerians, the little, because they don't have money to shop, the little saliva, I don't know when them to be wasting the saliva on the talk without any action. Right now, wait, we can do, don't worry. Right now, the mafia, they are 2 or 3 ahead of us now because right now they are liaising with Joe Biden. That is why he wanted to talk with Joe Biden when he come here. Is it this month? Yes. Want to come?
No, he's coming. He's coming this month, I think. Yeah, to New York.
To tell Joe Biden that don't mind them. That they don't mind them. I'm telling you, that's what it's doing. But right now they are playing politics. Let me just give the Nigerians, if they can take my advice, is like Nigerians, please and please do not neglect this, because as they are planning theirs, let me just chip in one or two. The one,
make
two,
it one, sir, because of our time. Don't make it two. Just chip in one more.
Yes,
one more.
Yes. Yeah, one more. Now, Nigerians should call it Sean Hannity. They should call it Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity of Fox News.
Fox.
They should tell. Yes, please. Nigerians call Sean Hannity. Tell Sean Hannity that Joe Biden has no rights whatsoever to talk with any person that is
president from Nigeria.
Well, God bless you.
Amen.
God bless you. That's what I will tell. Please, Nigerians, they should not neglect this cautionality. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. The rest is classified. Thank you. God bless you.
Baba, see, I wish we have enough more time, but my time is so up. I only have about 5 minutes to go, and I'm just going to use that to say good night to everyone. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay,
God bless you.
Amen, and you too. So next time, I hope somebody with that kind of vital information will call in early, so that we can have enough time to share all those info with every one of us. You love laughing, you love thinking this is always funny, cracking, and all that. But there is some information buried inside there. Don't let it be lost on you, okay? And thank you, all of you, again, for spending your evening with Mayegun and friends. So thank you. I am going to see you some other time, right? If you joined us midway, I advise you watch this from the beginning again, okay? Just skip some part and then continue watching. I spoke for an uninterrupted 2 straight hours. You can actually pick a lot from that, okay? Then there are other contributors who called in and then said yes and all that, which you can also pick 1 or 2 things from. But until I see you again, right? You can only join me next time if you are a subscriber onto my channel. Subscribe. Set on your notification. Facebook won't let all of you see me. Facebook won't let those who see me comment or like. But I am so grateful to all of you who continue to actually show up on Facebook, okay? Go onto my YouTube channel. You will never miss me. Trust me. And until I see you again, stay safe and good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun Diary political. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. àní ẹ̀sùn ra jù. kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. àní ẹ̀sùn ra jù. ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. àní ẹ̀sùn ra jù. aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. àní ẹ̀sùn ra jù. òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. àní ẹ̀sùn ra jù. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. àní ẹ̀sùn ra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì o. ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.